a new prisoner just arrived in the prison. His eyes were cold, and his 8-pack abs were as sharply defined as if chiseled. The tattoos covering his body made him look like a super tough guy. But the prison guards showed no mercy towards him, immediately grabbing a high-pressure water gun and spraying him all over, even deliberately sprinkling disinfectant powder on his head. The cellmate assigned to him by the guards was very friendly. As soon as he entered the cell, a 300-pound fat man lewdly blew a kiss. The guy on the top bunk gave Jason a death stare. Unexpectedly, the next second, intense fighting sounds came from the cell, only to find that the few perverts specially arranged had already fallen to the ground. However, in the prison where Jason is, there are many formidable inmates like him. These people are not only as strong as bulls and exceptionally skilled, but they are also top-level scum with numerous crimes. The next day, when Jason went to the cafeteria for lunch for the first time, a bald man sat at his table with a fierce look. Then, without a word, he spat a mouthful of 10-year-old phlegm onto Jason's plate. However, Jason, not wanting to cause trouble, did not respond. Unexpectedly, a tough guy with a mohawk then came up behind him. The man's words instantly brought his thoughts back to that night. That evening, as soon as Jason got home, he found his wife unconscious. Just as he was about to call for help, a man in black suddenly appeared and knocked him out. When he woke up again, not only was his wife already dead, but the murder weapon inexplicably appeared in his hand. Jason was then arrested for murdering his wife. Faced with the man's relentless provocation, Jason finally couldn't bear it any longer. Fortunately, the prison guards, who had been watching the drama for a while, finally arrived, putting an end to the sudden brawl. The prison guard then told Jason that he had gotten himself into big trouble because the person he just injured was the leader of the prison's bald gang. But when he was taken to the office, Warden Randy said he could offer him a sentence reduction. It turns out that before Jason was imprisoned, he was a super race car driver, and Randy wanted to invite him to participate in the prison's regular racing competitions. Unlike ordinary races, this competition, participated in by prisoners, is full of violence and killing, attracting many people to pay to watch, which also makes the prison a lot of money. But just not long ago, the top racer Frank unexpectedly died in a car crash. However, because he wore a mask for a long time, outsiders did not know his true identity. Randy hopes Jason will participate in the race as Frank. If he wins one more victory, he can regain his freedom. Although he didn't like being used, Jason ultimately accepted Randy's invitation in order to get out of prison early and uncover the truth. He was then taken by Randy to the prison's manufacturing workshop. There, Jason met his coach Winston for the first time, as well as Frank's heavily armed Ford Mustang sports car, which was equipped with a V8 engine capable of producing 850 horsepower and even had a specially added nitrous oxide acceleration system. The car's defense is comparable to a tank, with the entire body covered in bulletproof steel plates, and the rear of the car is equipped with a 6-inch thick solid steel shield. Additionally, it is fully equipped with smoke and incendiary bombs for defense, while for offense, there are 2 Gatling guns mounted at the front of the car, capable of unleashing a terrifying firepower of up to 3,000 rounds per minute with just a press of the trigger. Although everything is ready, Winston still reminded Jason to be careful, because none of his opponents are easy to deal with. The Chinese-American, 14K, not only holds the only MIT degree in the prison, but has also taken out 7 people on the track. The tattooed man nicknamed Death was already sentenced to 600 years in prison for murder before participating in the race. Green, who previously clashed with him, is also a tough character. He is not only the leader of the skinheads, but also achieved 9 consecutive kills in the races. However, the strongest is Joey, the leader of the Black Gang. Not only does he have excellent driving skills, but he also possesses a rare high intelligence among black people. A few days ago, it was his cannon shot that sent Frank to the afterlife. The rules of the race are extremely simple, with each race divided into 3 rounds. The singer needs to eliminate as many opponents as possible in the first 2 rounds of the competition and reach the finish line alive. In the 3rd round, victory must be achieved through speed. First come, first win. At this moment, several prisoners maintaining the track happen to return to the prison. Seeing the positioning bracelets on their hands, Jason instantly recalled the scene before his wife's murder. The killer made a shooting gesture when leaving, and he was wearing the same type of bracelet as those from the prison. This inevitably makes Jason suspect that his wife's death might be related to the prison. Soon, the first race day arrived. Randy personally put Frank's iconic ring on Jason. As Jason, disguised as Frank, walked out of the cell, the entire prison erupted into a frenzy. Subsequently, Jason, escorted by the prison guards, stepped onto the racetrack for the first time. At the moment the guard unlocked his handcuffs, Jason officially switched identities to the racing legend Frank. A prison bus slowly drove onto the track, followed by a dozen or so attractive female prisoners stepping off one by one. They were the navigators carefully selected from tens of thousands of female prisoners by the prison to boost ratings. One of them, dressed in black and the most beautiful, is Frank's personal navigator, Case.
Frank.
It was just a casual greeting, and Case immediately guessed that the person sitting next to her was not the real Frank.
This is one-way glass. No one outside can see inside. If you don't mind, I can take off the mask.
So Jason simply took off the mask.
Looks better than the last Frank, but if something happens during the race, the situation will be different.
On the other side, Randy, like a queen, was controlling the entire situation in the studio. With her command, the global live broadcast was immediately synchronized. At this moment, all the cars on the track revved their engines, ready to start. As the green light lit up, 9 race cars shot out from the starting line like arrows. With years of racing experience, Jason instantly took the lead, moving to the front of the pack. But the next second, green started ramming into him crazily. Soon, Jason fell to the back of the pack. Fortunately, Case, with her rich experience, immediately guided Jason into the adjacent lane, temporarily escaping the collision. With a quick acceleration and drift, Jason regained the lead, which made Joey, who was originally in the lead, completely furious. He immediately jerked the steering wheel, instantly knocking Jason off the main track. But Jason was not famous for nothing. He fully stabilized the car and then used a pile to make a comeback against Joey. But the disadvantage in the car still left him at a disadvantage in the collision with Joey. At the critical moment, Case once again guided Jason into a shortcut on the side, temporarily evading Joey's pursuit and blockade. At this moment, Randy ordered the activation of all the Dow Jones markers on the track. As long as all 4 wheels pass over them simultaneously, the related functions will be activated. The sword can activate onboard weapons, the shield will trigger incendiary bombs and smoke defenses, while the skull triggers a death trap. Shortly after, Xiaohei was the first to pass over the sword, and he immediately unleashed full firepower on the Grim Reaper's car ahead. Unexpectedly, the experienced Reaper slowed down and then quickly rammed Little Black's car towards the skull shield ahead. But he hadn't been happy for long before the next second. The triangular spikes thrown by the car in front punctured his tire. The unbalanced race car immediately went into a violent roll. At this moment, 14K seized the opportunity and fired a rocket, completely blowing the Reaper's car into the air.
Take it off my car window when we get back.
At the same time, Jason, who had been continuously attacked, finally activated the health shield. But when he pressed the electric switch, the Gatling gun at the front of the car jammed. In a life-or-death moment, Keith braved the hail of bullets, climbed out of the vehicle, and manually smashed open the jammed ammo belt with a wrench. Subsequently, Jason, with full firepower, forcibly snatched the shield that the car in front was about to obtain. But when Keith pressed the defense weapon switch, the fuel injection system malfunctioned again. Without defensive capability, Jason instantly became the target of everyone's attacks. The intense barrage quickly pushed the shield to its defensive limit. In the critical moment, Jason ordered Keith to sit on his lap and Jason took aim and launched the incendiary grenade. At this point, Keith pulled out the cigarette lighter and climbed out of the car again. Immediately after, he was completely sent to the afterlife by Joey from behind. Even though the finish line was already in sight, Joey, who was chasing from behind, was not ready to let Jason leave alive. To avoid Joey, Jason accelerated and caught up to the side of Green's car. At this moment, Green suddenly made a shooting gesture at him. Jason was momentarily stunned and was hit off the track by Joey again, causing him to fall from the lead to last place. Finally, Jason drove the now unrecognizable race car back to the repair shop. Since the second stage of the race was to take place in 14 hours, Winston immediately led the team to repair the race car. But when the assistant opened the fuel injection device at the rear of the car, they found that the injector was not damaged at all. Could it be that Case tampered with it? But Jason didn't care about this at all. At this moment, what he wanted most was to personally take down the enemy who killed his wife, who was right in front of him. Just as he was about to act, he was stopped by a nearby prison guard, so he went to Brandy's office again. She had already seen through everything. She told Brandy that there were too many coincidences in her imprisonment process, and it was very likely a deliberate arrangement by the prison, with the purpose of replacing Frank in the race.
I'm not racing tomorrow. Go fuck yourself.
But Lanty was not afraid at all, and even had the prison guard unlock Jason's shackles. It turned out that Lanty had already found a new home for Jason's daughter in advance. If Jason refused to participate in the race, he would never see his daughter again.
You want a monster, but you've got one.
For his daughter's safety, Jason had no choice but to comply. However, the murderer of his wife must pay with blood. Watching Green walk by, Jason followed without a second thought, not realizing he was falling into a trap. As soon as Jason got close, he was ambushed from behind by Green's henchman, who then tightly strangled his neck with a chain. Green, returning the same way, immediately delivered his iron fist, then picked up a nearby wrench, ready to end Jason's life. Unexpectedly, just as he was about to shoot, he suddenly felt a sharp pain in his back. The chubby member of Jason's team had stabbed an iron rod into his shoulder. Taking advantage of the moment when their attention was diverted, Jason seized a piece of metal, then quickly grabbed a fire extinguisher to start his counterattack. Seeing this, Green immediately swung a wrench and charged, but the restrained Jason was like a fierce beast at this moment. Seeing that he was doomed, with no way out, Green had no choice but to reveal the truth to Jason. It turned out that Lanty was the mastermind behind it all. That night, it was the prison guard who personally took him to Jason's home. Even though the truth was revealed, the revenge for his wife's murder still had to be exacted. Unexpectedly, just as he raised the exhaust pipe, the prison guard who heard the noise stunned Jason with a taser. Soon, the second match followed. At this moment, billions of viewers worldwide were waiting for Frank's triumphant return, but Jason had no interest in the competition. His only goal was to exact revenge on the tracks. But unexpectedly, the reckless Green provoked him once again, unaware that his life was already on a countdown. As the green light turned on, the other 5 cars all rushed out at once, while Jason calmly stayed in place. After a brief wait, he slowly started the car. It turns out, Jason had long suspected that Hayes had tampered with the car before. He demanded the truth immediately, or he would eject him from the car.
你杀了老弗兰科吗？
Sabotage his rear weapons. She said she signed my release papers. It's my life back.
It turns out that whether it was Frank or him, as soon as they were close to winning 5 races, Blue Emperor would find ways to eliminate them. Upon learning the whole truth, Jason immediately pressed the nitrous oxide acceleration button and quickly caught up to the front of the convoy in the blink of an eye. Looking at Blue Emperor glaring from the second floor, Jason's revenge plan officially began. He first accelerated to catch up with Green, who was leading alone. Then, unexpectedly, he first triggered the sword ahead. Without activating protection, Jason immediately became Green's target. But true experts never play by the rules. He executed a sudden drift turn, then engaged in a deadly shootout with Green. Jason, reversing at high speed, took the opportunity to activate the rear shield. He then quickly drifted to turn around and immediately activated the passive defense smoke. Jason, who was already far ahead, did not continue forward. After the cars behind passed by, Jason quickly reversed and knocked down Green, who had just climbed out of the car. Then he put on a mask, got out of the race car, and directly twisted Green's neck in front of the nearby surveillance. The murderous look seemed to tell Blue Emperor that he was next, but Blue Emperor was not intimidated and ordered his men to bring out the invincible war vehicle he had spent months building. It was equipped with multiple heavy machine guns at the front and back, and a heavy cannon was installed in the middle of the vehicle.
The situation on the track changed dramatically in an instant. The race that was just a moment ago a chase between competitors suddenly turned into a battlefield.
Even the highly skilled driver, 14K, was unfortunately caught, directly blown to bits by the invincible car's heavy cannon. Before long, only Jason and Joey's cars were left on the track. At this critical moment, Jason decisively ordered Little Fatty to connect to Joey's radio.
How about we play a little offense?
After brief communication, the two quickly drove their cars to the sides of the war vehicle, then withstood a wave of saturated attacks. Then they simultaneously accelerated, overtaking to the front of the war vehicle. A few seconds later, they each used one side of their car wheels to activate the hole in front. The second round of the race ended smoothly, but Frank's voice made Joey feel a sense of déjà vu. So that night, Joey took the initiative to go to Jason's workshop. It was obvious that only a racer could have such quick reflexes. Joey suspected that Jason was the legendary Frank, but Jason remained calm and composed. Meanwhile, the enraged Blue Emperor was also intent on killing. He wanted to eliminate Jason directly and then find a new Frank to continue boosting ratings. So before the official race the next day, Blue Emperor gathered all the prisoners on the playground under the guise of a mobilization meeting, while also arranging for the guards to install a remote-controlled bomb on Jason's car. Meanwhile, Winston made a new discovery. By reviewing the footage of the first race, Winston found that behind the billboard was the bridge connecting to the prison. Jason immediately understood and requested an additional half-gallon fuel tank at the rear of the car, then went straight to Joey's workshop. However, the suspicious Joey did not trust him, so Jason had to reveal his true identity.
Hey, I think you and Frank should have a little talk.
Soon, the third round of the race began again. To have a decisive showdown with Jason, Joey specially installed a row of rockets on the car roof, which also meant that even if
only one person can leave the track alive tonight.
As the green light lit up again, both of them launched simultaneously, speeding away at light speed. Jason was the first to secure the position towards the sword ahead, but unexpectedly, the warden remotely shut off the ignition switch.
Jason's race car instantly became a moving target as he sped towards the shield ahead.
Seeing that the shield was about to be pierced by bullets, Jason immediately ordered Case to drop the shield. Unexpectedly, Joey was prepared and easily rolled away with a dodge. But just when Blue Emperor thought Jason was doomed, Joey accidentally launched a salvo, sending all the rockets crashing into a nearby billboard. The two of them burst through the flames one after the other and successfully completed the jailbreak under the watchful eyes of tens of millions. By the time the Blue Emperor realized something was wrong, they had already driven onto the neighboring cross-sea bridge. Enraged and humiliated, the Blue Emperor immediately ordered the live broadcast to be shut down and dispatched all police forces to intercept them. He then grabbed the detonator from the prison guard's hand, attempting to personally eliminate the bastard who had tarnished his reputation. But he didn't know that Winston had already seen through his trick. As soon as the intercepting police cars got close, Jason immediately ordered Case to drop the car's fuel tank. The police cars, unable to dodge in time, were caught in a chain explosion. Jason knew that Blue Emperor's target was himself, so he immediately directed Joey to retreat from another direction while he sped forward to draw the helicopter's fire. It seemed like Jason had no way out, but he had already planned an escape route because Blue Emperor had signed the release papers for Case, so even if caught, he would be released from prison. So Jason took the opportunity to jump out of the car and escape, while Case took over the car and continued to speed ahead. When the car runs out of fuel and can no longer move, Keith puts on a mask, climbs onto the roof, and surrenders. At the same time, Jason reunited with Joey. Although they successfully escaped from prison, Joey regretted not being able to personally take down Blue Emperor. However, Jason didn't think the same. It turned out he had already prepared a big surprise for Blue Emperor.
你赢了。但是，我爱这个游戏。